Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire Service. We're talking Wilkes University men's ice hockey. Tyler Hynes with us. Tyler, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit. Your players are chomping at the bit, but, it's been a tough gig. Division III sports aren't playing. Division II sports aren't playing. And, some Division I's are up and down. But the bottom line is we just can't wait any longer. We're like, let's get back there. But the safety and the well-being of everybody, a lot of considerations. You start hearing about all the rumors of, okay, they're going to have to test every single person, the guy who takes the tickets or the guy who runs the Zamboni or the guy who announces the name. I mean, it's up and down the list. But the bottom line is, what's the time frame? Let's talk a little bit about what just happened in the last week on when you guys could possibly be playing some ice hockey.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. The league came out last week, was a big week for us, for our league, and just a proud time to be in our league. Like you said, a lot of the conferences across the country at our level had come out and said they're not playing or not going to be doing winter sports, things of that nature. And to be a part of the conference that was the first to come out and say, we still intend to play, that's the direction things are moving. And it looks like right now, about the timeline, they approved a February 19th start date for competition. So we got to be in shape and ready to go by that point. So presumably a couple weeks before would be when we kind of get things going on the practice side. But that's our timeline right now. And we're just happy we have one. Like you said, I think there was a lot of uncertainty and things up in the air, but for our young men and women to have that opportunity or hopefully be moving towards that, having that opportunity, I think it's a special thing. And, just commend our university presidents for showing that leadership.
You hear a lot in swimming about dry land training. How about in ice hockey? Is dry land training kind of what you guys are about right now? I mean, I would think it'd be tough to get on the ice anywhere.
100%. That's the biggest thing. I think the people who have rollerblades have benefited, and the ones who don't have tried to find themselves some rollerblades or found a buddies, because I think that's a good way to stay in shape. But that's the hardest part. There's a lot of little muscles and ligaments in hockey that you use in your hips, and we won't even get into goalies and how that position's kind of different on their bodies. But hockey's a weird sport in that sense, and it's tested our creativity, our strength and conditioning staff. Zach and Keith have done a tremendous job with our guys. They were ready to go, in shape from really day one when they came into campus. And when you don't have to worry about that as a coach, and you can focus on how to get the most out of each practice and how to make sure everyone's squared away in the classroom and enjoying themselves with all the craziness of the pandemic. That's a welcomed weight taken off of our shoulders. But it was a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, the staying in shape, the off-ice training, the dry land, if you will. But our guys know they have to be ready when they come in. And it's a good thing to have to be ready, like we talked about. But it's going to be a quick turnaround. There's not going to be too many days to, we get our practices in and we get our, like a normal year with training camps and things like that. The expectation is these young men come in shape, ready to go, and they have every year that I've been here before this. So I'd expect nothing less.
A vision to have Wilkes University ice hockey years ago, and young coaching staff comes in, and you guys hit the ice literally blazing. I mean, things aren't supposed to go as positively as it has at Wilkes. Let's talk about the beginning of ice hockey at Wilkes. And man, it's amazing that, you get a strong recruiting class, you get guys that go perform, you get coaches that are doing. It was a team collaborative effort, the athletic department, the administration, a lot of positives on how you guys are able to hit that ice there for the Colonels.
Well, that's one of my favorite things to talk about, was that first year. That there was a year before that not a lot of people saw, and that was the year that Brett Riley recruited this team, most of this team still. And that's one of my favorite things to talk about, because it was just such a learning process and experience, and there was so much good, and there were so many tough nights, and there was so many challenges. But the coolest part was not on the coaching staff, but more for the players, facing those challenges together. And every one of those, you get a little closer and a little closer and a little closer. And now what the culture that we talked about, the way we wanted to do things, that's been played out in practice now. And when you walk into the rink for a practice, it looks like Brett wanted it to look that freshman year, like it got very close to looking. But I give him so much credit, because that was, a learning experience for me coming out of college and getting to learn from, in my opinion, the best coach in the country, but at the very least, one of the best. He's proven that at this point with what he's done at LIU as well. But that first year, there were so many lessons learned. But last year, I could say the same thing. We went through a ton and faced a lot of adversity, and it's pretty. And looking back at the end of it, it's like, wow, that was a very good season, successful season. But, we're not satisfied. And when you're going through it, there's not a whole lot of time to look back. So it's nice, but we're going to look ahead now and, hopefully continue to make Brett, President Leahy, Addie, Malatesta, the people who played a major role in starting this program and did start this program, continue to make them proud.
Being young and being enthusiastic, I mean, there's always that fine line. You always look at it and say, okay, whether you're running a bank or, you're running a school or you're running a hockey team, there's good and bad. And what do you do to kind of, I don't want to say keep your guard up, but like, I'm sure you think about it sometimes, like, hey, I'm the young guy. I got to get the respect of my team, much like Brett did. But at the same time, we got to go do good things. We got to go do great things, because this team is capable of doing even more than what you guys have done. And you've done a lot in the first couple seasons.
Well, that's a very poignant question, and I think a really good one, and really the challenge that continues to come with this. I think, the team, the group of young men that we have, make that much easier. I think I never had to feel like I was coming in and, they were questioning me. It was always eye to eye. How are we going to get this done together? And they're just a fun group to coach. When I get to the rink, when I wake up, that's what I look forward to, seeing them. It's not hard to call them throughout this break, because we have plenty to talk about. We've been through it together. We've built a relationship, and we know what we got to do now, like you said, to continue to raise the bar. We've had successful seasons. We've been very good, but we still don't have a UCHC championship. And I think that's when we'll be able to say this program is where we want it to be, when we can do that. So we're still hungry. When
we look at the team play and the competition you guys have played in, you're like, okay, boy, that's a really good hockey team. I mean, most of the teams we see are very good hockey teams, but there's a team or two you see that comes to the ice at Cole Strait, and you're like, okay, that's a next level team. So, but you're looking at some of these coaches, 23 years experience or 31 years experience. I mean, these are established programs, but nonetheless, you guys have gone out, you've recruited, you got guys from all over the country and Canada, and that's what hockey is. And that's what Wilkes University has kind of brought in, is you guys have a big roster of guys from all over the place. Let's bring it all together and let's see what we can do. And it's been success from day one.
100%. And I think we have a young man from Belgium too, Toon de Shepper. Really exciting to take all these people and, I'll say his name again. A lot of this was Brett Riley, but I want to give credit to our current assistant coach, Ryan Secor. He's done a tremendous job, not just on the ice, not just making our team and our players better skaters, but upholding that culture. And that's what it comes down to when I feel like you're bringing in people from different places and backgrounds throughout the recruiting process. I think it's important to make sure they're cut from the right cloth. And once that's the case, as long as they're coming into a culture that's strong and to people that believe in them, that's what we have here. A strong culture, team that believes in each other, guys that are friends on and off the ice. I talked to them. They're hanging out throughout this break together, trying to find ways to, drive and skate with someone for a day. Little things like that, I think, are a little bit different here. And I think that's what makes it fun, what makes it exciting. But it's definitely a challenge. We know every year culture is always under construction. It's not, okay, it's great, it's done. There's things we want to improve on. There's things we can get better at. And there's ways that we can continue to push each other. But like we talked about having a season, at least we have an opportunity to do that now. That's the fun part. Then on the coaching end, we can get all our wheels spinning.
The health and the well-being of your team, your coaching staff, everybody in the athletic organization, and of course the student athletes at Wilkes University will be an important component. But now the announcement has taken place. Okay, we did what we had to do up until December 19th or whatever that date, was. That now it's like we're in another level, and then there'll be another gear once we get on the ice to practice. So it's going to be so important at the beginning of the season to start off the right way, because boy, things could really go sideways if it doesn't. So let's talk about that conversation here right around the holidays. Guys, it's time now. We got to take it up a level before we get to step C or D.
Well, you exactly right as far as the phases that it goes in. And it's not let's look a month ahead. It's okay, these 2 weeks. How can we do through these 2 weeks? And, we've definitely had conversations as a team, as a coaching staff, with the players about doing the right things, making the right decisions. But like I said, that leadership comes from them. That's an internal drive, and they were as ready to make those steps and ready to make those commitments. They just needed the announcement to come and what that timeline was going to be like. So having a better idea of that, I think they know when they need to be peaking now, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a constant test, a constant challenge, and those first 2 weeks are very important. Like you said, there's different gates and layers to this. I think those first 2 weeks, just like the first 2 weeks this past semester, were very important. I think that's going to be 14 days that we're ready to go for.
What's a thing that you focus on and you say, okay, to get to that level, we're real close, we're knocking on the door, we're right there, but whether teams are going to try to bait us during a game with some more experienced players, or whether we need to score one or two more of those tough goals. I mean, defensively, you guys have seemed really solid. What is something to take this team to a level that you would like, hey, we got to get to that next level, we're right there, but you know what, we got to get better? What is something you kind of said in the off season, this is what we need to do?
When we take 3 or less penalties per game, I think is probably the simplest answer to that. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of ways that we can get better. I think the discipline factor, the minimizing time that we're down a man and aren't able to be in attack mode, that's what we want to do. We want to attack. We want to play fast. We're in your face, and we're not afraid to say it. But when you have one less player on the ice, it's hard to do that. So I think that will be, and it's something that's come back to haunt us against, some of the best teams. Those are games where one thing, one way or the other, might change the game. And we've been on the benefiting side of that, and we've also been on the other side of that. So I think to answer that simply, I think if we take 3 or less penalties in a game, I like our chances of winning.
Winter sports season, usually it's a lot of basketball or hockey or wrestling or whatever you guys are doing. Now it's a little bit, okay, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to do something that I haven't done. Is there a family tradition? Is there a meal? Is there a dessert? Is there something you like, man, I just want to do this. This is going to really, this is something I do on a regular basis, or something I really enjoy, coming as we approach the new year?
I do really enjoy, I have a family tradition with my mom of making Christmas cookies and then sending them out to friends and family. That's a lot of fun. As good as the cookies are, I think the process of making them, just like, I guess a microcosm of hockey. It's not the end, it's the process that's fun. But I like doing that. It's been great to kind of be able to take on some challenges coaching wise and look into things that maybe we wouldn't have had time for in the past. I definitely enjoy the family traditions. We had a fun day yesterday opening presents together in the morning with my mom and dad. But other than that, it's I'm young and I like coaching hockey, so a lot of what I do revolves around that.
I love to hear the grounded stories of being with your parents and being able to soak up that time, that's for sure. Tyler Hynes, my pleasure to speak with you. We wish you the best going forward. And, man, we're looking forward to seeing the Wilkes University Colonels on the ice in February.
I can't wait. Always good seeing you, John. And, yeah, we're excited too.